déjame explicarte. Ya que tú me estás haciendo la pregunta.
Comenzamos
ya.
La cara. Claro,
comenzamos.
hace rato.
Ah,
A ver, yo le voy a quitar.
bueno.
Primero, I want to thank you.
Oh my goodness.
Is that good lighting there?
Sí, se ve bien.
I'm doing this on my own. You all know this. And the reason I'm doing that is because I want to be free to create.
Espérate, estoy dando pantalla. Ahí estamos bien. Yo creo que
my content. I don't want an executive telling me what to do. I don't want anybody to own me. I want to have freedom of expression.
Mira,
tú sabes.
Te explico. Yo no creo que I don't believe the grass is greener on the other side of the fence.
Right.
I don't think that I will achieve anything by moving elsewhere. Like I'm gonna be where I need to be.
Right.
And it's just it'll be a means to an end, but not an end on itself. Because I do know that if you
your English is pretty good.
It is, yeah. But I do understand that if you, I mean, I'm about seeking happiness, and happiness is an inward search. It's something that you like, and I believe that if you like, I understand the need. I understand that sometimes maybe you have like you have it really negative where you're at and you need to move elsewhere, but it's never been like, because I don't think I belong anywhere. I feel okay here, and I don't feel like moving anywhere because I think the world is going to become every time smaller, and I'm going to be everywhere all the time, no matter what.
I agree.
You know, so
I think we're going to become one at some point.
Exactly, and I do understand that some people may feel like they cannot have an effect outside of their country unless they move. Mm-hmm. I believe you can have an impact in the world wherever you are.
Correct.
You understand?
I totally agree with you. I totally agree with
you. And you know, so it's never been something I think about. Like I want to be elsewhere because I've seen elsewhere, and I do know what it feels to be not home. I feel home within my own body. Mm-hmm. But I don't find it to be attractive to be a foreigner.
No,
like,
right.
You know, it's like you can choose. You can choose every battle, but you know, there's just some battles that I don't care about. Like
there's also traveling. I mean, you can always.
Exactly.
I thought myself of recently, like, because I've lived many lives. I think I've been married twice. My kids are grown. I studied. I have two degrees, and now I'm doing this. And I think, what next? And I didn't think I would feel like doing before. I'm thinking of it now because of what you say. Home is where you're happy within yourself, because this is our home, our body. So
it is.
I've been thinking about, you know what? I can spend a month in Europe. I can spend 2 months I can travel, and you will not change who you are no matter where you go. You're going to work as hard. You're going to follow that dream that you have, because it's all an intention. So, you know, I agree with that. And sadly, a lot of Dominicans only come to realize that once they're gone.
I understand, like, it's like just a gamble. Like, I do believe that if you want to leave where you're at, it's probably because you don't. It's so complicated. It's complicated because maybe you feel like it's too much. Like it's a small box for you, and you need somewhere bigger so you can achieve more things. Right. And sometimes I do feel that once you're good, and once you're really like purposely trying to achieve like good things and always working, like you don't need to move anywhere because you're doing fine here. Like I understand that this is a growing country, man. I mean, you can go there and you can see it's like a lot of cars and more houses and constructions. This is a growing country.
Right, which is what I meant to say to you before that. You can go to.
I like the country, not the people,
right,
as much.
I like the country. I like the fact that you can go any day of the week and meet up with your friends and, you know, sit in a park or.
It's a free country.
You can't do that in another country. And I also believe that this is a growing country full of opportunities.
It is.
The opportunities that are going to be harder for you to get in another country because those positions are filled. It's already done. It's they're Ivy League schools. I mean, they're guys that they studied with the best technology. For us, it's limited. I include myself in that because of the podcasting. I know that because this country is so small, I feel like I have a better possibility of people looking at me, seeing what I have to say. America's full of podcasts. Oh my God, that's like it's just not even funny how many.
It's like you can have like any perspective. Like you can feel like you're a big shark in a really small pecera, or you're like a small fish in the ocean. And it all depends on what battle you're fighting. I do feel that it's like I've seen, like there's a lot of stories. You've seen people that are big within their own country and they do a whole career and they don't have to even go anywhere. Like Gabriel Garcia Marquez, like maybe Los Caifanes. Los Caifanes, the band, never left their country until they became Los Jaguares. So it was not necessary, and they really did achieve a lot. And so it's just what kind of battles you choose. I believe everybody can choose their own battles. I do think that I'm kind of the people that I always think like what I can do more with good ideas than with a lot of resources. So some people have like a lot of resources, but they don't have good ideas. They like a lot of Dominican movies, for example. You have all the money, but the movie just sucks because you got the money, but you ain't got the creativity. You ain't got the taste. I do believe that you can learn technique, but you don't learn good taste. Like
no, that's not
you don't,
something that
and
you
there's
learn.
something you can't teach.
Exactly.
It's like they say, you can't, like a bee can't teach a fly not to eat shit.
It's true. You have. If you're an artist, you're an artist. You can learn how to be an artist. That is absolutely true.
You can learn techniques, but creativity is something. It's to me that's what determines from you being either a musician or an artist. If you're creating something, from that point on, you can call yourself an artist. Other than that, you're maybe some specialist of some sort.
You're going back to the point where with the Caifanes, there's also the fact that they can live and be successful because there's so many more people over there. Where in Dominican Republic, as a band, considering the dominant class, which will automatically knock you off if you don't look like them, or they play the music that they want you to hear, which is a big part of Dominican Republic, the dominant class. Those are the people who have the money to pay. So, making it here as a band is not as easy as Mexico, let's say, There's no reason for them to leave. Where here is like, you're limited. I know from the artists I've met that there's
I don't believe in
any. Making money.
I don't believe in these things that you're saying.
You don't?
No, because I mean,
you don't agree
there
with
is don't confuse what you hear with what is reality.
Okay.
What am I trying to say here? What do you hear? You hear that maybe radio stations are not playing your music, right? And that's what you think. Like, where do you listen to rock? And DR. Well, you can listen to it in your house, like every other style of music, because like there's just these platforms that have no power anymore. They used to have like some kind of monopoly.
Right.
But let me explain you something. Like back in the day when people would say that things were better, you'd have to wait for like 4 months for a single concert. 3-4 months. Now you go within a week and you got 20 concerts.
Right.
So what is real?
That's true.
People just...
How did that happen? Do you think it's because of COVID that everybody's desperate to get out, or
I think it's...
or trying to make the money that
It's been like that for like the last 15 years.
Okay.
But sometimes you hear something so many times that you believe it's real, but it's not.
Right.
Like most mediums of information will tell you that rock in DR maybe has lost territory, and it's probably not a mainstream thing in terms of information, but in terms of actual concerts actual people working, actual
It's
people
happening,
making
but at the end,
music.
I am born, raised, studied in the United States.
Yep.
40 years. I know I'm one person, but I can tell you that the majority of people over there do not have an idea that there are rock bands here. Good rock bands. They don't.
It's easier than that. It's
You
smaller.
know,
If you're not even within the circle of music, you probably don't know that the rock bands exist even in DR.
Mhm.
But it's not fault of the audience. It's the artist's fault.
Right.
Like
I understand.
where's freaking Subway here? How many Subways do you know?
One.
Do you think it's people's fault that they don't buy Subway?
Right.
They're not liking it. And if your music is shit, I mean, why should you expect people to listen to your music? I mean, I do. Yeah, man.
I get
You
it.
just want people to buy your stuff without liking it. Why don't you try harder to make something that people will
Well,
like?
So what you're saying that the problem is not
It's always
that
been
it's-
the
it's
artist's
just that
problem.
they're not being creative enough so that the world or themselves here
I wouldn't.
can make be more.
It's every artist that hasn't achieved anything
Mhm.
significant's fault.
Mhm.
And I'm gonna put you an example, like inconsistency. Like there's a lot of artists that don't understand that it doesn't work like it used to. Like you put a song out, and then surprise, it's #1. It doesn't happen like that anymore. Like you want to achieve something, you gotta work long term. Like people need to see you consistently for a decent amount of time. Like if you just step out, you bring a song, and then you're back in your cave for 4 months, like you achieved nothing.
Nothing.
I'm gonna give you an example. Like I give you a bag of popcorns, I tell you it's gonna be done in 3 minutes, right?
Mm.
You put a minute in the morning, a minute in the afternoon, and a minute by night. It's not gonna pop. So you have to put the whole 3
Right.
minutes
one after
consistently.
second, right, consistent.
Why? Because you got a pizza parlor, and you gotta open up every freaking day, not just today and then next month. And that's what happens with musicians, like rock projects and any kind of project that does not take itself seriously. It doesn't just happen with rock.
Mhm.
It happens with the
everything.
boceros.
Yeah.
I can mention you
Right. All the
like
time.
really good pop artists that could have been bigger. Like I'm gonna mention you, Marel Alemani. He's the best solo artist in the art, but he's not consistent. He's never been serious about his music. So whose fault is it? Is it that people are not liking his music? No, you have a pizza place and you're not opening it.
Mhm.
What do you expect?
Mhm.
And you know, some people just see the achievement, but they don't know how much you have to go through to actually get somebody to pay attention to your work.
Right.
And the business model has changed, and just people, you need to stop being so much an artist and start more understanding the business part of what it is that you're doing, so it can actually become a brand or
Right.
you know.
Which is another thing that I see here a lot is that a lot of artists don't have managers, which I think is a mistake.
It's not a mistake.
It's not because
I'm-
do you have the time as an artist to go? You know, do you have?
Let me explain.
Mhm.
I know musicians that don't have their own instruments.
Right.
So, you know, I know musicians that don't have managers,
Mhm.
but they won't find managers because they're not doing
I
anything.
see. So they're
The-
so
why
you're basically
why
saying-
why would I manage your shit band if you're not doing anything?
Right.
You understand?
And if I understand what you're
Like,
saying, I get it. I say you're saying it's you know if you have an intention, you see it through. You get up every day and you go and you do it. And
The
right.
bands are just waiting for somebody to rescue them. And if you're gonna actually achieve something, I'm gonna tell you this: they're gonna work on a band that it's already going somewhere.
Mhm.
You know,
Right. Yes.
and no matter if you're there or not,
Mhm.
you understand? They're gonna be going to places because they already made their decisions, even if they don't have a manager. You understand? The manager will appear as a byproduct of the work that you're putting in.
Right. But I think like, isn't it easier for a manager to negotiate you as an artist than for you to do it yourself?
Let me explain you this. There's bands that cannot
negotiate you. That was a bad word.
Well, there's bands that need people to write their songs. There's bands that need like somebody to make their videos for them. Like there's bands that are like creative powerhouses where they do everything and they understand what they're what they're going for. I do believe that it's better to not have to sell your own product. Like you want to have a manager, you want to have somebody to represent you. But in the end, it's just a means to an end. Like the manager is just a tool, and he will only be able to sell your band if you're actually doing something. So it all boils down to how serious are you about what you're doing. Like I'm gonna tell you, I wish every single band had a manager. Now, I don't believe that every band deserves a manager. Because it's not the same thing to have something than to deserve it and to value it and to put it into good use. And, you know, that's why like so many people like have like music as a side thing, but not really like the main thing. And I do understand that you might know some people that maybe they see themselves as artists, right? That they can't take the rock and roll lifestyle out of it. They think it's still the 90s, and they still think that it's cool to be drunk on stage. They still think it's cool to have like 3 nights straight with like, you can't do this shit if you don't rest, if you don't do exercise, if you don't eat well. You know, it's no longer, nobody's gonna touch, like, knock, knock, wake up, we got a gig today, we're gonna pick you up and we're gonna drag you on stage. No, man.
Serious. And those are the ones that you say they don't deserve a manager. They haven't earned it.
And they probably don't have one.
They don't have one. Right.
Yeah.
Right. You're right. So I agree. I now that you explain it to me that way, it makes sense. Because I was thinking that those guys that do that, I was saying you need a manager. But the fact is that if they're going to continue to do that, then having a manager is not going to make a difference.
I'm gonna tell you something. There's things that you just get, but there's things that come to you from the like you get, like you want to play, but you won't get hired if you don't have a good single. If you're not working consistently, and like you can buy your own instrument, that's cool, but to find somebody to understand that what you have is something that can be transformed into a benefit, that requires work. That requires like you demonstrating that you're not fooling around with this thing. And because not everybody, you can find a wannabe manager. Like, let me tell you what the difference between a wannabe manager is and a true manager is. A wannabe manager will tell you, I believe in your project, and I think that if we work together, we can achieve great things. That's a wannabe manager. I'm going to tell you what a real manager does. I know where your project can go because I've already been there. And I do believe that I can walk you guys to where I've already taken other people, not just two blind people trying to get to where nobody's been. Like, it does happen, but it's like these are just people that are just gonna wind up making a lot of mistakes.
That's interesting because a lot of bands or artists look for managers because of their experience or their background or how much money they have or how many people they know.
Yeah,
and not their experience necessarily in music or in that field. Yeah, so they
it is kind of necessary. Like, I'd rather go to Punta Cana with somebody who's been there if I have no GPS. Like if we're back in the 90s,
Right.
to say something, but like I believe in your project. I think we both can achieve something great. But have you? No, you haven't. So how could you actually? Like you don't hire a freaking mechanic to fix your baby, right?
Right.
Then why do you think that this guy is gonna take you to places that he's never been?
So you don't. So you. I know that. I know you're a host at a Gamecast.
At a
right?
podcast,
At a
yeah,
podcast.
gaming podcast.
You. This is. Thank you. First of all, we started recording without introducing you, Ariel.
Ariel Sanchez.
Thank you for accepting.
But you can edit this, right? You
Yeah.
should. You should.
Yeah, the best podcasts are unedited. Thank you for being here. I really appreciate it. I really do. I find you very interesting because you are. I think I'm a little bit like you, where I do a million things. The jack of all trades, the kings of none. They call me. I do a lot of things. Like I work as an attorney, and I do translating, and now I'm doing this. I want to sing, that. So I'm like at a point where I just want to do. I understand that life is now and it's here. I don't know what's coming after. I haven't seen it, so I'm trying to do it all. So I know that you're doing that. You're doing that. You're a host at a podcast, and you're also a guitarist, and you play the bass also.
Yeah.
I just recently found that out. I didn't know that you play the bass.
Yeah, I do.
Okay. So do you have?
And I have a recording studio.
And I was gonna ask you that.
Home
Are you a producer?
Yes.
A music producer.
Yes.
Good. And it's home.
Yeah.
That's good to know.
And I finished graphic design.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
So
yeah.
you're
And
advertising.
I drew. I'm sorry, I draw
You're an artist.
too. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, that's what I might consider
Good.
myself.
Right.
Like I am an artist. I
Yes,
create
you are
stuff.
well
I create
rounded.
stuff.
Okay, you're a creator.
Yeah, kind of.
So
yeah.
that's probably why you start. Obviously, you started playing games. a
No,
long
I've
time
been
ago.
playing video games since forever since
Right.
like I was like about 5. But
How does this happen with the podcast?
let me explain you. Like I've always been I'm not a fan of many things. Not even a fan of music. Like I play music, and it's because if I were a fan of music, I enjoy so much of music, but no, I don't. Like I don't enjoy every part of music, and most music I really dislike.
Okay.
Because my father used to be a guitar player too, and he just spoiled us with good music, and there's not much good music, or that I like, and it's hard for me to actually listen to music or actually like find some enjoyment out of music.
All music, or is it
Most music.
Most music.
It's work. It's work. Like you're an architect. You're probably excited about making.
So you started playing music because your dad?
No, not really. My father used to be like a guitar player, and he lived at home, and we always saw him playing. But I was not interested because I didn't want to become my father.
Which is a syndrome that we all have.
A lot of things.
No, we all do that. We never want to be our parents.
But this is what happened when my mother and father divorced. Like all of my friends were buying guitars, and I felt out of place. But I did understand one thing. I mean, if they keep buying guitars, somebody's gonna play bass. So I'm gonna buy a bass, and that's what I did. I bought a bass guitar, and I automatically started playing in bands. And I'm out of most of my friends, I would say like 20. I'm probably the only one that's actually working with music consistently. And that's kind of how it started. I've always enjoyed music. Don't get me wrong, and I like creating stuff. And music is something that comes kind of naturally to me. But I do like doing other things because.
That was my next question. Is it something that you do subconsciously? Is it in your nature to be busy all the time creating?
Let me explain you. I'm not as busy as people think. Because that's one thing that like people are busy in freaking office places. Like it's just you just don't find out because it's not like the kind of work that gets any kind of publicity. Like I get a concert, you find out that I have a concert. I have a podcast, you probably find out. but I don't have a job. Like I don't work any
9 to 5.
I don't have bosses. You know, I don't like bosses.
No.
I don't like being bossed around.
That makes two of us.
I don't like schedules. Like I have the tightest schedule, but I don't like somebody else deciding what I'm gonna do with my time. I don't like. There's a lot of things that I just don't like, and it's just been guiding me to what I feel. Now let me explain you what happened with video games. I played video games for a long time, and I stopped about 10 years ago, approximately. Why? Because for the same reason that you do stupid things. Like, let me get my life in order. I'm going to stop doing things that make me happy, and I'm going to start doing these other things that you're supposed to be doing that are supposedly going to fix your life.
Right.
And then away goes happiness. And when happiness
And
goes
time
away,
yeah.
time goes away, and the money does too. You cannot make money while being angry.
Unhappy. That's
You
true.
will make enough money to make a living, but not to have any form of impact. And you know, the pandemic came, and I put a lot of things into perspective. Like I felt anxious, like I'm gonna have to get a job, and I'm thinking to myself, no man, like I've been asking for God to give me the opportunity to have the time to create the things that I want to create.
Now that you have it.
And now that I have this opportunity, I'm not gonna try to spoil this doing some other shit.
What you've been conditioned to believe
So
is the right thing.
I understood that like you're never ever gonna be successful doing something that you not enjoy.
Yeah, totally
Like
agree.
Elon Musk likes what he's doing.
Yes.
Steve Jobs
Yeah.
liked what he was
Yeah.
doing. Michael Jackson, like all these great people
They love what they do.
they probably didn't enjoy everything, but most of it they did. And I felt this like I
So
had to do.
What would you say is what you enjoy the most out of all the things that I know so far? You do podcasting, you play video games, you're producing music, you're also playing in this Toque Profundo band, and you also have a lot of projects on your own, right?
Mhm.
So what would you, if you had to do one of all those things and live comfortably doing just that, which one would you choose?
Let me explain you something. Cause I'm as lazy as the next guy. I'd love to wake up and just, you know, do nothing. Like, of course, but I'm an ambitious guy. You know, I have my motivations. Like, I do understand that I'm not exact. Like, there's a life model that does not exist. So I'm gonna create it for myself. And I've been thinking that way since I've been like real young, since I quit my last job, and I've been all about creating the lifestyle that I want, and there is a price to be paid. Like I can guarantee you that I've lost more money to music than 85% of rockers in Dominican Republic. But I've also made more money than 85% of most rockers in DR, and I'm specifically saying rockers, like true rockers. I'm not comparing myself to merengueros, bachateros, salseros. These guys, this is where the real music industry is here in Dominican Republic. But I'm willing to pay the price to get closer to the life that I believe that is worth living.
All those successful people that you see, they sleep 2-3 hours a day.
No, I don't. You know.
No, you don't. But all those people that you mentioned before, they work. They work. I mean, they are constantly working.
Yeah, and
that's what you have to do.
I don't know about weekends. I don't know about freaking Mother's Day. I don't care about these things because I've seen New Year's Eve on stage more than 7 times in my life, and that is supposed to be like one of the most important days, but it's not.
You'd rather be home in your bed.
It's not. No, I'd rather be on stage making money.
Right.
Doing that, but I don't care about these things. People care about these things because they think that the special day is Valentine's Day or maybe New Year's. You know, today is as special as any other day.
Absolutely.
You know, so the only way you can actually and there you go. Like I work a lot, but I work a lot on the things that I enjoy doing, and it keeps me motivated. But I have the motivation to create the life that I believe that I deserve, like, and that I think it's the one that I want.
It's
Like
not really it's what you want.
I like waking up whenever I want, and I do that every day, you know? And sometimes I have to wake up real early, but it's like the exception of the rule. Like, and I'm fine doing
and
it.
It's fine, yeah. And you know, if I knew, or if my parents would have told me this, or if the world would have told me this, what I know now, not to be redundant, my life would have been so much different. I created this life that I have. I created it. It didn't fall from the sky. I woke up one day. This was my intention, and just like you said before, I had a contract with a firm, and my contract now it was adjusted so where I have more free time on my day. And when it happened, I was like, oh my God, I freaked out. And then I said, Rosa, this is what you want. Now you can do all these other things. So we're so conditioned to this, what they've taught us, that we don't think it possible to have that
Social
line.
pressure.
Yes, it's just, and you know, we have to break that along
You need
the
to,
way.
you need to not take advice from people that do not have what you want.
Right.
So just don't.
And nobody wants exactly what you want. Everybody wants something different.
Well,
you know?
some people have what you want, and those you listen to. The others, just fuck them and whatever, man. Please don't say anything, because I do not want to listen.
No,
I don't like your life. I don't like your life. I don't like your wife. I don't like your job. I don't like the house you live in.
Yeah, right.
So
Right.
why do you actually think that I'm gonna listen to your
It's- and
shit?
it
I
goes-
won't.
I get, and it goes beyond that. Like I've had, since I started doing the podcast, it's all eyes on me. That's how I feel. Even if it's not like that, I feel like it's like that. And I get more negative than positive at it. I mean, seriously, very few people that have actually called me or said, wow, how cool is that you're doing it. Most people say,
But you don't need that.
I don't need it. No, but but I'm saying it to make a point. I don't need it, but when you hear so much of the other stuff, don't do this, don't do that, you can't do this, you can.
It gets to
it gets
there
to
comes
me.
up. Oh my
And
goodness.
it gets to me. Not only does it get to me, but it's like I'm doing what I want to do. Like you can't tell me what I should be doing. That's relative to you. And even if I fail doing it, I'm doing what I love. I'm doing the way I want to do it.
But this,
So
you're missing on something. They can tell you
No,
what
they
to do
can't.
and what not to
They
do.
can't.
It's up to you
It's
not
up
to
me
pay attention.
Right. So that, but I'm new to this. So every day I think my kids tell me, Mom.
Goodness, I've been kicking this shit
those
around.
long legs. My kids, when I tell them, they say, Mom, please don't pay attention. Get up and do it. And sometimes I get scared and they tell me, my oldest daughter, who's like a little guru, if you stop being afraid, then you need to stop doing it. Mientras tú tengas miedo, dale para allá. So I go by that. So, it's that's why I was so interested in having you here as a guest, because I think we share that where, sometimes in my own head it seems like I work a lot, but I really don't. I really don't. I have all this time. I'm doing what I like. I wake up at my own pace. I go to sleep at my own pace. I live comfortably. I don't have ambition to have a lot of money. What I do want is I feel like I don't know if you feel this, but I feel that I'm alive, and as long as I'm alive, I need to be doing something. I can't just lay around not doing anything. I feel so, it's not in my nature. I have to constantly be producing, creating, and this is the real only thing that's mine, because I'm an attorney. But you can't make decisions. You got to do what the law says and what the client asks for. I translate documents from it. So this is the only thing that I'm actually doing it on my own, and it's very fulfilling. It's fun.
I'm gonna tell you something.
You started the casting?
Yeah, I did this thing because I was feeling this hunch. Like I want to do something that has to do with video games. I don't even know why. Like I've always loved video games. I've always enjoyed every single part of it, and I've always been really passionate about it, and I'm a fan of it. And I thought to myself, I'm gonna start doing something. And then a week passed, and I had this virtual show with Toque Profundo, and I met there with Jean Gabriel Guerra,
Okay.
and he talked to me. He told me, I'm going to start doing a podcast with your brother, and I'm really...
Who's your brother?
Sergio Sanchez.
Okay.
He's a keyboardist. He plays for Nooks.
Okay.
I don't know if you know the band.
Oh, yeah, I
but
know.
Yeah.
He's your brother?
Yeah.
You're kidding me.
Yeah, and I was like, I'm
I
all
know the
in.
band, by the way, and I like it.
I'm all in. I want to.
To do
and
the
I'm-
game,
Yeah, and
right there.
I'm gonna tell you something. I didn't really understand what even podcast meant.
Right.
Because I'm that kind of guy. I'm voluntarily ignorant. I don't need so
You don't
much.
want to know.
I don't want to know anything about anything. If it suits no.
Leave that little space in my brain. For
Yeah,
something
like
else.
some people just need information. I'm not good
Yeah,
at many information.
Right.
Like I do what I do, and you know what happens in frickin' Japan or frickin' these people, Russians with whatever, man.
I know.
It's
I
none
don't
of
get
my
involved.
frickin' business.
I'm the
I don't
same
give
way.
a shit.
I don't even turn the TV on. I
I
turn
don't
on exactly
care.
what I want to know.
Like I don't want to be an asshole,
It's
but
not
I
that we
don't
don't
give
care.
a shit.
We can't do
I
anything
don't
about
care.
it. We can't do anything about it. We don't
Exactly.
even know what's going on.
Dicen por ahí que chisme, cualquier información que tú tengas sobre la cual tú no tengas ninguna influencia
Yeah.
ni poder. Like
We have no idea what the truth is.
so.
They want to make us believe, but we don't.
They told me, and I didn't even understand. I
Okay.
just heard one word, video games, and I said yes. And
Okay.
and then I was thinking to myself, like, why did any, like, what's going on, man? Like, I had like
Why-
9 gigs, and this COVID thing.
What am I doing?
Look, this COVID thing blew up in my face, and I lost like freaking 9 gigs on about 2
Okay.
Christmas ago.
Okay.
And then this guy kept on calling me, man, freaking Jean Guerra, and I'm like, oh my God, man, why did I even tell this guy that I want to do a podcast? Now I'm freaking broke, and
Now
now
you have
this
to do
guy
it.
is just calling me, man, and I'm like, what the? But then he told me something, like it really clicked, and he told me, these guys, they called me, they want to make a video game podcast here. And I'm like, but why aren't you doing it? I mean, you're just waiting for me, and you wanted to do this thing, and I'm just, I'm a bit busy right now, and I'm just frustrated, life. I'm depressed and all this shit. But he told me something. No, the thing is that
That's
I want
funny.
you to do the podcast.
Okay. Why?
He wanted me,
Yeah.
so he saw something in me that I didn't see in myself,
That's nice.
and I understood
That was the catch.
yeah, it caught me, and I understood that this guy was son of Juan Luis Guerra, which has, like, he's seen success up front in terms of he's seen somebody do really big things,
So it
which
goes with what
was
you
his
said
father,
before.
which is his father, and I know that when you have a really successful father, you want to be successful, you want to do things. So I understood that if this guy who's seen success up front wants me to do a podcast, he's seen something that I'm not seeing. And I did see something, because I do believe in the big video game industry, and I do believe in all these things. But by that moment, I was
You
just
were dead.
frustrated.
Did you?
So I went in and started.
Immediately.
Yeah.
Did you have? I mean, when I'm not a gamer, because I know when I used to do Donkey Kong, and I spent hours. You know what Donkey Kong is,
Yeah,
right?
of course, man.
I would spend hours. I couldn't let it go. So I know that if I buy one, I'm gonna spend my whole day doing that.
That's
So
good.
so the concept of a game cast, I was thinking, like, so what do they do? And I actually went and I saw it one day. You guys are actually playing.
Sometimes.
You're playing sometimes. Is it addictive?
Yeah.
It is addictive.
Video games, yeah, absolutely.
Is
addictive.
it as good? Is it an addiction to be? Do you think that gamers don't get enough credit? I mean, do you think that it's a bad addiction? Because.
Okay, let me explain you something. You can be a drunk, or you can be un catador de vino.
Mm-hmm.
You still drink.
Mm-hmm.
It's just why you're doing what you're doing. Like, I understand that because I have this, like, certain meditation practices and stuff that I do. And it's not what you do, it's why you do it. Because if you drink too much because you want to escape life, right? If you play so many video games because you just can't stand being you, because you need to escape,
Then it's negative.
like it's like that with everything.
Yes, it
like,
depends. It's true, because when you drink and you're sad, you're gonna drink.
So,
you're gonna be a bad drunk.
video games are the same thing. The difference is with video games that it's being interactive, where you're not just watching a television. You're being part of what's going on.
With other people.
It's not just watching passively like television.
You're being creative.
You're being there and you're being involved. So there's a lot of parts of the brains that are being like lit, and you have things going on. And I believe video games are really good things, but I do understand that there's just people that are freaking losers, and you know. And
do you think it desensitizes people?
I don't believe any of that thing.
Not even
those
children?
Things. No, man.
No.
I don't believe in any of it.
Because it would be like, you know, you can be an addict to reading books.
I believe there's just asshole parents, and there's just losers. That's it. You know, because if you could say, like, if you could pinpoint like video games are bad, like everybody would be fucked. Like cigarettes. Cigarettes are bad. That's obviously freaking bad. That is just, it's no way around. It's just bad, and this is what it is. But video games is about what relationship you have with it.
Absolutely. Because
So
if you're not a killer, you're not gonna go out there and kill people.
it's not guns, man. You like atracadores have guns, police have guns.
Right.
They have different reasons to carry guns.
Right. And some people that are not atracadores or police have guns, and they just use it as protection.
There you go.
So it depends on the person.
It's
That's
not the
doing it.
gun.
Right.
It's not the money. It's not the video games. It's not the drugs. It's not the alcohol. It's the person.
Right. Do you believe? What do you think about artificial intelligence?
Well, that's an interesting question.
Let me ask you this. Do you believe that artificial intelligence is going to be or is more intelligent than a human?
Let me explain something that I believe that might happen if they're okay. There were people that thought that by this time we'd have no petroleum and that we'd be like freaking Mad Max killing each other for fucking gasoline, right? But time shows you that there's like electronic vehicles, like different sources of freaking combustion, you know, combustible alternativo. So what am I trying to say? There's going to be people, that conspiracy theorists, that are going to tell you that the world is continually going to degrade into fucking chaos.
Right. Because of artificial intelligence.
And there's some people that have their eyes open and they know that life is getting better every day. Some people are just becoming more stupid.
Yeah. I'm a fan of artificial intelligence.
I do believe that it will suit a need. I believe it's gonna make life easier, but I do believe that people are still gonna be more stupid, and those who are bound to be stupid, or there will be really fucking stupid. Yeah. And stupid people are really dangerous, because to me, they're the ones that drive like crazy. They drink like crazy. They believe the wrong politics. They vote for the wrong politicians.
So from what I'm hearing, you blame more not the product but the person that's using
each individual
and how they look.
Yeah.
Do you think that we should use this instrument that we've been giving, which is casting, to try to send that message out? Because, you know, again, I go back to my childhood. I had my kids, I got married, all that was conditioned. It was what I was supposed to do. I went to school, you know, many other things that, you know, I really don't want to get into now. I chose the wrong people to marry because I was conditioned. And so people were, your parents were God. Your parents were God.
Happens,
what they said and did is what you believe. Now with this instrument, you know, and it's what I believe. I believe that we've been this has been put in our hands, you and me, and for the purpose is to get a message out, you know, even if it's something little, you know, like.
Okay, let me explain you something. Because let's say something that could bring some light into the conversation about artificial intelligence. First off, we do understand that artificial intelligence would be omnipresent, so it can travel through any source,
Correct.
right? So what makes you think that there isn't already artificial intelligence going on right now? Now, you expect it to touch, like knock on your door and say, "Hi, I am artificial. I am the art." It's not. It's probably Google, you know, understanding what everybody's clicking in, learning about it, and just feeding you back through your cell phone. So it's probably already there. And it's just maybe what people worry about. People worry about maybe the artificial intelligence taking control and just governing humanity. But I do understand that there's some things that require that, like ambition. Like for you to want to actually control people, you have to be a narcissist. So let's see if that artificial intelligence is gonna grow into being stupid.
I don't think so. You know, I think that
Because in the end,
yeah.
bad things happen because of stupid
Yeah,
people.
stupid people. Yeah, but I think that
Mostly.
obviously bad things happen because of stupid people. There's no question in my mind about that. But I think that the world it's called evolution. So artificial intelligence is not a bad thing. It's evolution. It happened. It's here.
It's just the thing that's gonna be happening, and it's just gonna be a source of technology.
Yeah. And it's helpful. I mean, I'm working from home. I manage my hours. That's because of this. I work remote.
And
so
I'm gonna tell you something.
Me,
it's probably already there. Like
yeah.
it's probably it's all probably already there. Like this thing, it's thinking on its own. It's making things on its own.
Absolutely.
It's just not to the point where it's manifested into a physical thing where you can actually
It'll
talk.
Probably be chaos. In
But
the
it's
world.
probably already doing its own thing.
I
Like it's
understand.
and maybe I do believe that.
Maybe the artificial intelligence chose you to do Gamecast.
I don't
Subconsciously, no.
I wouldn't think that. I wouldn't think that. But I do believe that there's just so many things going on within the internet that it's already an entity on its own, and it's not gonna be what people imagine. I do believe that it's already the internet is the whole artificial intelligence. I believe it's already everywhere.
Right.
I do believe that we all already. It's not controlling us.
We're
It's
in
like
there.
it's like
we're
it's,
in there.
it's the whole thing. It's like air.
We're there.
Like it's like air.
Right.
We need air.
Right.
Once you take air out of the equation,
Right.
we're gone
Right.
in seconds.
And we are there
Everybody-
when you think about it. Everything about us is there. I saw an interview.
So it's not something like Elon Musk would say. It's something to be afraid of. It's. I don't think it is, because people collectively we will survive. We will strive.
Absolutely.
And if we don't, Earth will remain.
Right.
And if everyone dies out, the Earth has the patience to wait freaking
To cure
billion
itself.
years
Yeah.
till the next freaking microbe appears again. So
You're not worried.
I'm like, humanity. It's not about the end of the world. It's probably about the end of humanity. But I'm pretty sure the universe is busier.
Yeah, I agree. But I am all for it. It's given me the things that I want. You know, the ability to travel and see my family with my computer. I mean,
That's technology.
It facilitates everything to me, right? So, I have some questions here because, do you prefer to be a host or to get to play? Do you play less now?
No, I play a lot more because I was
Okay.
not playing. I started playing.
Are you enjoying being a podcast?
Yeah,
Do you enjoy it?
of course.
Yeah, right?
Of course. I really like it. And
Mhm.
I thought to myself, now that you mention it, like I was thinking, like I want to do something that has to do with video games, but I don't know what it is.
And I was, before you got here, I was preparing for this. And I read an article, I can't remember what it was, and I thought about you and I said, he does so many things. Have you thought about creating your own game?
Yeah, of course.
Right? And then there's another thing, which I thought, how about creating another chat, another Facebook, another Instagram? Like, why haven't we thought about doing that? Like, we can do it.
Well, Like,
do it. We just need a platform.
let me explain you. Like, the thing I knew I wanted something to do with video games.
Mhm.
Like, but I thought to myself, I don't want to have to create a game
So
right
it's
now.
a game. You want to do a game.
No, man. I don't want to have to do music for video games because it's gonna be pretty much most of the same thing.
Okay.
But then I thought, well, we can talk about video games. I believe there is some kind of podcast, but I don't see like these podcasts maybe talking to Robert Downey Jr. about what video games he likes. Like, the conversation about the video games is always saved for the video gamers.
Not for the users.
And I do believe that the video games thing in Dominican Republic is like a very big bubble which needs to be exploded. Like it's there, but it's segmented and it's still not mainstream.
Okay.
And I started this podcast trying to just do something new.
Mhm.
And I believed in this guy that called me, but then I understood one thing, that the gamers needed this. They needed a voice. They needed like a
Right.
place so that they can like have the information. You know, this transit of information that was just niche.
Yeah. Something for them.
¿Tú me entiendes?
Yeah,
It was niche.
absolutely,
¿Tú me entiendes?
absolutely.
Entonces, like, I'm trying to give them a voice, and I do understand that we already have the respect, because I don't seek love. I don't seek people like me. I don't care for that. I do seek respect, because respect is not something
Love is respect.
No, it's not. Because you know why it's not.
It's reverence. When you respect someone, you have reverence for them, and reverence is.
I will call that admiration.
It's
and
still
respect.
because you're thinking about love. I'm in love with you. Maybe I love you. You know, I want to hug you. To me, love is caring. Is honoring who's in front of you. That's love to me. I mean, anything. Or I should say that comes from love.
I'm gonna tell you, like, you can love somebody and not respect them, and you can love somebody and not admire them.
But then that's not love.
Like
It's not love,
I've seen mothers love their kids even if they're not.
Oh.
They're freaking losers, you know.
Mhm.
So love
I
is
understand.
love can be true and it can be toxic.
Mhm.
Like, people can really truly love you, but have toxic love for you. They want to possess you. But respect and admiration has no substitute.
Right.
So, you know, don't expect.
Is respect fear?
It's not the same thing, because like fear is like. Let's put it this way. Once you turn your back, they're gonna try to kill you. They're gonna freaking, you know, if you
But
turn
if
on.
they respect you, they
But
don't.
they respect
Right.
you when you're behind your back. They're gonna defend you because they respect you. So you want people's respect. You want to try to achieve that, and you know, that's kind of what we've been doing. We have the respect of the people. We already understand that if we stop doing what we're doing, we're gonna leave like this big.
No, you're gonna lose the respect.
No, it's not about me. Let me explain.
No, I mean
you something.
the gamers.
I don't care
because
for
they'll
gamers.
disappear.
I don't care for gamers, and I don't care for this anything. I'm just gonna tell you something. These, like, if the podcast disappears right now,
Mhm.
it's like taking a wheel off a car. You know, it's just, it's already become something that is a necessity.
Right.
And why do I tell you that? Because we have always, the agenda is always full. Like, we always have people
I want to be on your
Contact
podcast,
you.
bro. I want to be on your podcast. bro.
contact. So it's something that people
So it's
need.
good. It seems like you're pretty happy doing it.
And yeah, and I do understand that it's become something that's beyond me, which is beautiful, you know, because I believe in these things. You know, I believe some people just don't understand what they're doing when they're doing what they're doing. But I know these things because I've been seeing these things for so long. I understand art. Art is something that you cannot put a price onto, because Van Gogh did not sell much when he was alive,
Right.
but after death, he's probably the most important artist of all time, and you cannot buy his shit Like unless you, I don't even know, man. Like I don't even want to ask that
Van
question.
Gogh? Ooh,
You know,
it's
but
untouchable.
and this is what
I
I'm
don't
trying
think
to
there's
tell
we
you.
can sell it.
Like if you want to really do something, you got to start thinking about something that might surpass
Sell.
your own life.
That is true, and that is what I tell everyone. Don't let it catch
A
you.
song,
But this is the thing.
a
and,
song will be
Oh
there
yeah.
after
Yeah,
you're dead.
forever. Oh, it's not.
This podcast
Yes,
might just
correct.
be there after I'm
and
dead.
that is so fulfilling. That is what I call creative, and I always say
Legacy.
you're born to destroy or construct. Construir o destruir. I choose to construir. You know, even if it's like my my kids, I talk to them.
You can destroy things too. You can destroy old ways of doing things.
Well, I mean it destruction like
I understand.
hate
Yeah.
and expanding that. You can do both things. You can take that into the future, but when you do take something into the future that's actually going to be constructive, that it's going to be helpful, that you're going to pass on. That's it's. I think that's the most fulfilling thing in life. So how about you doing your music too, right? What do you find that you're doing? You're playing with Toque. Obviously, you guys are touring a lot. I see that you're doing a lot of shows. You're doing your guitar and your projects. And you're doing all this because you have certain goals that you want to get to. You have certain ambitions. You have certain intentions of doing something else that you're working so hard, or do you actually enjoy going out and gigging every night?
Okay. The question will be, why do I work so much? Is that the question?
Well, if you consider it work.
Well, you'd be surprised what you do to pay your bills.
Right.
Because that's the thing. Like I try to answer this question. I don't put in as many hours into music as most people put into their daily jobs,
right.
and they're just doing this for somebody else, for some boss or somebody. And I work a lot because I want to achieve a lot, and I'm not in this place that I look.
Where do you want to go?
Let me tell you something.
What's your destiny?
I'm going to tell you something. I don't want to compare myself with these guys. I'm just using them as examples. I'm pretty sure Donald Trump is not where he wants to be. I'm pretty sure freaking Mahatma Gandhi was not where he wanted to be. Because life is not about getting anywhere. It's about being actually in a, look, let me tell you something. You can be like un zapatero, progressing, and you can be Donald Trump, progressing, and you're in the same level. Because why? Because there is no limit to what you can reach,
right.
First. And there's only okay, are you, there's no, this is why.
As long as you're going up.
Progress
is progress.
Progress is progress.
Progress
No
is
confunda más nada. Like if
Right.
you're actually doing something, well, you're achieving things and you're progressing.
Mm-hmm.
That I call, that is in Buddhism they call it like the highest state.
You meditated. You said that you meditated.
Yes, I do.
Before. So you are Buddhist. You practice that religion, or you are learning about it. Is that?
Well, I'm a believer, and
You're a believer in religions.
I believe in religions. I believe in they're necessary. I believe in I'm beyond religion. I'm gonna say that.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'm gonna tomate el atrevimiento de
I'm
decirlo.
gonna go and I'm gonna say.
Yeah,
it
man.
I feel like.
I'm beyond religion in terms of I like, if you know enough, you understand they're coming from the same point. Like Buddhism, there's not much difference between Buddhism, between Catholicism, between Hinduism. There's like a lot of if you look at it, it's like a freaking Hyundai and a Toyota. It's a freaking
the end
car.
goal is the same
It's gonna take you from point A to point B.
Right.
And I do understand that all religions are necessary, and everybody. Because why? Because if there was only one, what would happen to those people that have no access to Evangelio?
Right.
And
that's why there's so many, because also
the people that talk bad about religion don't know enough about religion. That's the problem. They think they know what believers believe in, but they don't. They're just assuming they know. They don't know.
Well, bad news travels fast, they say. So
Exactly.
we're always going to find out the bad and not the good.
So
And I understand. I believe that it's what works for you. whatever works for you, and lets you go out that door and be kind, which is a daily struggle. Because I am no one to say that I'm kind 100%. I try every day, and it's hard because you're again, you're conditioned. We're in flight or fright. What is it? Fight or flight?
Fight or flight mode.
Yeah, we're in that mode. So it's very hard to, and it all comes from what you believe in. So religious, Catholic believe it, something that makes them like that. I'm, without saying what I believe in, I have something that also gives me that, okay.
There's a misconception of people that think that being religious is synonymous to being stupid.
Well,
No,
there is.
I know a lot of stupid atheists.
Yeah, but wait, but religious, but.
You mean a fanatic? I know atheist fanatics.
No, but wait, atheists aren't killers. People automatically think somehow that you say you're an atheist and you're evil. And that's not right.
I'm going to tell you something. Yes,
and then
some atheists are evil because they're stupid.
Some Christians.
But let me explain you something. I'm going to tell you something. There are stupid atheists, and there are stupidity just slips everywhere.
But it's the common ground.
It slips everywhere.
Right.
Like, I'm going to tell you, I'm very freaking short. Like, let me tell you this story. Like, el tipo desde que se metió a cristiano, ahora tiene una jipeta, ahora tiene una casa propia. Like, what did you fucking expect? Like, he's probably not drinking as much.
Right.
He's probably not as stupid as he was. He's believing in this thing.
He's respecting himself.
Which is making him find a better path. And you know why it bothers you? Because you're such a fucking loser that you can't stand him doing better. And you're just trying to find somewhere to say that he's...
Well, that's what they say. There's love. There's a thin line between love and hate, because people hate what you have because they want to be that. They love what you have.
It's like, I'm going to tell you something. I'm so out there that I know the 11 freaking rules of Satanism and the 9 sins, because it's appealing to me.
Mm-hmm.
And
so you're basically
the
like
first
said,
sin of Satanism
is what?
is stupidity.
Is it?
It is. I love it. I love it.
But again, Satanism, it also has several interpretations.
Exactly.
Some people think Satanism is kill and blood, where for others it's an actual religion. They believe darkness is beautiful.
Some people think being a Catholic is just stepping into a church every Sunday.
No, some people believe it, but think about it. I mean, it is the biggest religion, and Catholicism condemns homosexuals. They condemn prostitutes. They condemn promiscuous women. They condemn.
So leave Catholicism for homophobics.
That's what I'm saying. I agree, and I have people that I absolutely love.
Homophobics deserve their own religion.
That are Catholic. I mean, to the T. And I love that. I'm speaking about my ex-suegra, who to me is my mom almost, and I love her to death. And when anyone ever speaks bad of religion or disrespects that religion, I take it very personal, because that person believes in that, and it's a sacred ground for them. So we need to respect everybody's religion. That's the way I feel like, as long as we respect each other, like you said before.
I say, if you don't understand it,
right,
just
you shouldn't be speaking.
Shut up about it, man. Like that's why we have so many idiots like on colmados talking about pelota and politics.
Mm-hmm. What advice do you give me, Ariel, on podcasting?
On podcasting, don't stop.
Do it more.
Don't
this is
stop.
why I'm doing it like this, because every time I
don't stop. Like, you need to understand this. Like, don't be the passenger that is waiting for the train to step in. Be the train that is gonna go forward, and then people want to hop into your podcast because they see you're going somewhere.
Yeah.
So don't be the guy in the station. Be the train.
Good. That's a good advice. Do you believe in aliens?
I believe in aliens because I believe this place is way too big. but I don't believe in aliens the way people describe it. Why? Because we have seen how, like, I don't believe we've been able to communicate with aliens. Because just think about what 200 years means in planet Earth time, and just think how many means in, like,
Space-time.
what are the odds that you're gonna find a planet which is parallelly synchronized in terms of technology,
No.
like communication, writing, lenguaje, all these things,
nearly
so that we can
impossible.
actually have some
Right.
form of communication that we can agree that, like, into something.
Right.
That's one thing. Plus, we have only 5 senses. Like, we cannot perceive, like, radio information, internet, all these things. What makes you believe that internet and radio collapse with each other? Like, you don't know because you don't see it. So that information is going through these walls. So what am I saying? We are just capable of perceiving things in this
The immediate
vibration
That
situation.
that we're in.
So, like, life elsewhere? Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Have they visited us? Have we been able to communicate with them? Yeah, probably so, but you probably don't even notice.
You know, the way I think about it is that there's so many hundreds of years that you have to travel to get to another living planet that if they came, we would know about it. I mean, why would they come from wherever they came and be like, yeah, let's leave
It's a
Let's
problem.
leave it
It's a
there.
big problem of transportation.
but
but
isn't it? If they came
we-
from another planet here, you know their technology
but
is
that's
advanced.
the thing is that we assume they're solid, like us. But
That's true.
who knows if
That's true.
they can survive? There's
Right.
intelligence there, like where
If
the
it's
heat is, like in
energy
the
or just
sun.
heat,
It's
right.
just, or we
Another
assume.
form is what you're
We
saying.
assume they're dense, but it's probably just air, and they have this other form of, like, we assume being intelligent is speaking. Like, let me tell you something, and this is, you're probably gonna love this. People assume, we assume, when we take as a solid fact that human beings are smarter than cats or dogs. And I do not agree. Like,
I
we
don't
have
agree either.
we have better bodies. We have hands and we have fingers. But I don't correlate being able to get yourself in depth and go into a bar and getting
right.
a stupid job.
As beats.
It's not. It doesn't amount to being smart. Like, to me, being smart.
And we take care of them. They don't do shit.
It doesn't, like, I'm telling you, step into a cat's body and try to drive a car. Would it matter how smart you are? Can you actually measure, like, is this cat smarter than this dude? I know cats and I know dogs that behave better than people.
Oh yes.
So
yes.
I don't agree that
I mean,
human,
they all do. They everything they do is on survival. If they attack anything, that it's for
like, I wear a cat, you know, I wear a cat. I'd probably behave like a fucking cat so I can get something to eat and have a place to stay. You know, it's smart. Like,
That's
are.
what I'm telling you. We are working for them. They're
They
chilling.
are cats and dogs and these animals. They're smart to their needs.
Right.
And to their needs and to their bodies that work the way they work. Like,
And it's another form of life. We can't compare ourselves to them.
we can and we should, so that we'd be a little less stupider, man. Because
With them,
I've
you
seen,
mean? Or you mean to act like them is what you're saying?
understand some forms of behaviors like
okay.
that like for example, like, animals kill to eat, not to satisfy, like, just
because they want to have a sweet tooth.
stupid freaking, you know, like
Right,
a
and they
better
eat enough.
car.
And they eat enough.
They eat what they have to eat.
eat.
Like when they're sick, they don't eat.
Right.
Like, he's not eating. He's probably sick. Yeah, and he's ayunando. He's letting his
Right,
body.
right.
So I'm gonna tell you this: like, you were born a human. How do you know that you're really that smart? Like, you have this.
I don't.
You have.
I understand.
You
I
have.
understand.
You don't.
We don't.
Just
no,
wake
we're-
up
we're-
as try
yeah.
to, like, have you read, like,
I-
Metamorphosis from Kafka?
I've read a lot of you see there. I've read a lot of his book. I'm not speaking to you of it, but I know when you say you're gonna love this. My beliefs are far beyond that. I mean, I have great respect for human existence. I have great respect for for waking up every day for my life. Like I said, I try. It's a daily struggle because I'm still conditioned. I stopped eating meat because I understood that I am no one bigger than anything. I'm just, I function. I wake up. I try to better myself. It's in me. I can't just lay around and do nothing. But I respect all things. And I was going to ask you this before, but we got off the subject. Not that you could compare it, but when you're playing a game, you see these characters. Do you ever feel like do you feel a relationship with them? Have you grown to feel a relationship with these characters? I know this is a little spacey, but do you feel like when you're playing with these characters, do you see them as, just
A living
machine,
organism, somebody that's
or
there.
do you see something? Yeah. Do you have that connection to that character?
No.
No. You can just get rid of it. You don't need to see the character again ever in your life. It's done. It's gone.
Look, let me explain you what it is. Like
I'm asking you this because of children. I wonder sometimes if they are in this surreal world.
We need to people have this problem with censorship, and they have this problem with all these things because we haven't sometimes. Well, this is so tiring to me. People have diluted truth to a point where we cannot tell good from bad.
Right.
Like nobody wants to label anything as good or bad because everybody wants to be in this gray freaking area where everything is bad and where nothing's wrong and you need to understand. No, you don't need to understand anything. There's just things that are real, right? There are things that are real. There are things that are wrong, like for example,
What's wrong is
you're
wrong.
fat and you need to be called beautiful because you're fat. No,
we know you're unhealthy.
it's like telling somebody you're so beautiful, you're a beautiful drunkard.
Right.
Like no, man,
Right.
it's sick and you will die.
Right.
And okay, because this is the problem. The people have gone to a point life is just people are not hungry enough in terms of starvation. People don't have true problems. So their problems are how many likes they have on Instagram and all these things. And you can't, you want to know if it's good being fat? Let a fucking lion loose. Who's going to fucking make it? You're probably going to die. Why? Because you're fat.
Right.
And it's not there's some people that have this situation where they have this hormone thing. Yo, that's a really smart percent. It's just you not being aware.
I have it and I control it. You see, I control it.
Well, good for you.
No, you have to. It goes back to what you're saying. You have to be responsible. You have to be responsible of what you want, and you can't expect things to happen.
And people keep feeding you these things. It's okay. It's not okay, man. It's not okay.
No,
if
it's
they
not
keep
okay.
feeding you,
It's true.
let me tell you something. Money doesn't make people. Things that to God, we are all the same. But in fucking earth, if you don't have money, you will go to a fucking hospital and you will fucking die. If you're fat, if you get on a fucking I believe in life. Look, I'm the type of guy that I believe that laws and all these civilization agreements are just illusions. Once you're stuck in a room with another guy and they tell you only one of you guys are gonna be alive. Right. You gotta fucking kill that guy. You gotta eat.
All the religions
and if
all
there's no longer food on earth, no longer food on earth. Right. You better kill somebody so you can eat them. Because if not, they're gonna kill you. Mm-hmm. And it's I'm gonna said why do I think like this? Why? Because I've seen musicians buy guitar strings for strings that are completely new. And I'm telling you, how I know this guitar and these strings are done? I imagine myself in a post-apocalyptic world, and I think myself, this guitar, are these strings good enough? They made fucking music, so they're good enough.
That's good.
You understand?
Yeah.
Because just sometimes you're doing things and you don't know why you're doing them.
Right.
And I do understand that
It's
people need
subconscious.
to
A
be
lot of
really
people are-
grounded.
Yeah.
You are worth less if you're useless. Like you can be important to God, but if you're not useful,
Oh, absolutely. That's
and
what
you're
I
just-
said. I have to be constantly doing something.
if you're like a black hole
Mm-hmm.
where you just
Sucking
taking
in.
resources,
Right.
like you have this aunt that's sending you money, and you have like
Oh
this
my God,
summer,
you'll always
and
stay there.
everybody's just saving your ass.
No.
Like the world is where it is because we've made the whole humanity has made a very hard job at keeping the weak alive instead of helping the strong prevail and achieve things.
Mhm.
So I understand it's fine, but I do feel that people need to hit their faces on a fucking nose
Mhm.
so that they can get their shit together and
think-
stop
I think-
being such,
I think-
such whiny bitches.
I think that. I think.
Don't hate
I'm going
me.
to tell you this. No, I don't hate you. I'll say it
No, I
here.
mean
I'll
people.
say it here in social media. I really don't have a problem saying it. I was very religious. I used to carry a crucifix on myself. I read a book. I don't know if the book came because of some weird way, but I understand now that when I started looking at life as this here on earth, I started being more creative. I just moved around better. I have a limited time. This is not forever. And as a result, I'm becoming more successful. I live better, I'm happier with. So I know you're running out of time.
Yeah.
Again, thank you for coming. I want to thank you. I hope to have you back again. And I'll leave you with this. It says, I heard this quote today, and it says, I think I erased it. The universe will reward you for consistent hard work and passion.
Yeah, I know.
Bye. I shall see you in the future. Thank you, Ariel. ¿Qué hora es?
Ya la hora de yo